before you race out and start one, you probably need to do a little bit of thinking and some due diligence to make sure that this is the right thing for you, because they do require a bit of work. It's all about community, so see what already exists, do some research, check that no one is doing and addressing the issue that you see as a primary need. Consider whether you want to create your own community foundation or collaborate and participate in an established one. Don't start up as a new competitor unless you have to, because we know that in our rural, regional and remote communities, we're all pressed for time and volunteer capacity is crucial. So check out the environment around you. Do a community audit, and we've talked about community audits in some of our previous webinars. That's a great way to understand local needs and skills. What can help or hinder you, and what do others think? So it's really critical to talk to local leaders, formally and informally, to understand what the issues and drivers are. A great source of assistance is Australian Community Philanthropy, and their Executive Officer, Kate Buxton, is a great resource to chat to about what community foundations can provide, and she can also direct you in a number of areas for additional assistance. Now, if you've done all of this background research and you've really considered that this is what you need and you're not duplicating and you've got great community support behind you, it's all systems go. So what's next? Well, we do recommend that you undertake a formal feasibility study. It formalises the exploratory work that you've done, and it takes it to the next phase. It's a good way to test the level of commitment and interest in your community, particularly because you're going to be calling on them to donate their time, treasure and talent to your community foundation. So, Alice, what do you see as some of the things that are key requirements for successful community foundations that should be scoped in a feasibility study?
I think it's really important to make sure that the community is going to be behind you. And so it's very important to really engage community leaders in this process. And so you can understand what the community needs and make sure that everyone's supporting you, including the community organisations, and that they're not seeing you as a funding competitor. I think one of the other things that's really important is that raising money is difficult. How are you going to raise the funds? Are there businesses that you know that will get involved? Do you have high net worth people who perhaps will be willing and wanting to give their time and money to help the community? These two things seem to be really fundamental for a successful community foundation.
Initially, a feasibility study was undertaken, and we broadly consulted with the community groups in our region as well as the district councils in our region. From there, we formed a steering committee which loosely represents the board as it exists today. So we've got broad geographic representation, which is important because we cover a broad geographic area.
The Marysville and Triangle Community Foundation was established after rounds of consultation within the local community to look at the best way of assisting with medium to long-term recovery after the fires. The results of the community consultation that was undertaken was almost overwhelmingly in support of establishing a local-based community organisation that could respond to the community's needs. After that support was received through the consultation process, a feasibility study was undertaken with the assistance of a grant from FRRR. And that feasibility study was a positive result, and so the decision was then made to set up the organisation.
So there's 10 steps that we suggest going through, not necessarily in that order, but these are the sorts of things that you really need to address when establishing a community foundation.